The door burst open without a knock, and there stood Emily, my best friend since kindergarten. Her eyes widening as she caught me mid-confession on the phone, whispering my deepest secret about loving her in ways she never imagined. In that split second, her face drained of color. The phone slipped from my hand, and the air thickened with unspoken truths that would unravel everything we built over 20 years. I froze, heart pounding, as she backed away, stammering excuses, but the damage was done. Our innocent bond had cracked irreparably. My name is Vivian, a 28-year-old graphic designer living in the bustling suburbs of Seattle, Washington. Emily Carter, my straight-as-an-arrow roommate and confidant, worked as a high school teacher, the kind who inspired kids with her endless optimism. We'd shared everything. Late-night talks about dreams, family dramas, even the occasional heartbreak from my failed dates with women and her string of disappointing boyfriends. But I'd buried my feelings for her deep, convinced they were a one-sided curse I'd carry alone. That night, though, after a few too many glasses of wine, I'd called my sister to vent, not realizing Emily had come home early from her staff meeting. She didn't run out. Instead, she closed the door softly behind her and sat on the edge of my bed, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. "Vivian," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Did I hear that right? You love me? Like romantically?" I nodded, tears stinging my eyes, expecting rejection, maybe even disgust. But Emily's response floored me. She leaned in, her hand brushing mine, and admitted she'd felt a pull too. Something confusing and terrifying that she'd dismissed as friendship. We talked until dawn, dissecting our histories, her conservative upbringing in a small Texas town she'd fled for the liberal West Coast, my own coming-out struggles with parents who pretended acceptance but whispered judgments behind closed doors. The next morning, reality hit like a cold shower. Emily's phone buzzed with a text from her mother, reminding her of the family reunion in 2 weeks. "What do we do now?" she asked, panic edging her words. I suggested we take it slow, explore what this meant without labels, but deep down I knew the stakes. Seattle might be progressive, but our circles weren't immune to whispers. Emily's job at a public school could be jeopardized by rumors. My freelance gigs depended on networking in a community where being openly queer was an asset, but crossing lines with a straight friend? That screamed drama. As days passed, the tension built. We stole glances across the kitchen table, our touches lingering longer than before. One evening, after a movie night that ended with us cuddling closer than friends should, Emily kissed me, soft, tentative but electric. It was our first real step into the unknown, and it felt like freedom. But guilt shadowed her eyes immediately after. "This isn't me," she murmured, pulling away. "I've always pictured a husband, kids, the white picket fence." I reassured her, saying love didn't fit neat boxes, but inside doubt gnawed at me. Was I pushing her into something she'd regret? The conflict escalated when Emily's ex-boyfriend, Mark, showed up unannounced. He'd heard through mutual friends that she was acting weird, and wanted to rekindle things. Over coffee in our living room, he eyed me suspiciously, joking about how we were practically married already. Emily laughed it off, but later confessed she'd told him nothing about us. "I can't just announce this," she said. "What if it's a phase?" Her words stung, a reminder that for her, this was an experiment. For me, it was my truth. Family pressures mounted. My parents, who lived in nearby Tacoma, invited us for dinner. They adored Emily, often hinting she'd make a great daughter-in-law if only she were the right fit. During the meal, my mom probed about my dating life, and I deflected, but Emily's discomfort was palpable. On the drive home, she broke down. "Your family would never accept this. Mine definitely won't." She revealed her parents were devout Christians, the kind who donated to anti-LGBT causes without realizing the hypocrisy in loving their daughter unconditionally. Until now. Our secret weighed heavier. At work, I confided in a colleague, Sarah, another queer woman who'd navigated similar waters. "Be careful," she warned. "Straight girls dipping their toes often bail when it gets real." Her words echoed as Emily started pulling back, canceling plans to think. One night, she came home late, smelling of beer, and admitted she'd gone out with Mark to clear her head. Jealousy surged, but I swallowed it, fearing I'd scare her off. "Did you tell him?" I asked. She shook her head. I can't lose everyone at once. The first major confrontation came at a mutual friend's party. Whispers circulated. Someone had seen us holding hands in a coffee shop. Emily denied it vehemently when confronted, laughing it off as sisterly affection. I stood there, humiliated, feeling like a dirty secret. That night, we argued fiercely. If you're ashamed, why are we doing this? I demanded. She fired back. Because I love you, but I hate what this means for my life. Tears flowed, and we ended up in each other's arms, but the rift had widened. As the family reunion loomed, Emily decided to attend alone, claiming work conflicts for me. It felt like a betrayal, a choice to preserve her facade over us. I spent the weekend alone, questioning everything. Was love worth this pain? When she returned, she was distant, mentioning how her parents pressed her about settling down. They introduced me to a nice guy from church, she said flatly. My heart sank. And she hesitated. I didn't say no. That admission sparked our biggest fight yet. You're playing both sides, I accused. She countered. You're forcing me to choose between you and my family. In the heat, she packed a bag and left for her sister's place in Portland. Alone in our apartment, I realized the cost. My best friend, my home, all teetering on the edge because of one unguarded moment. The silence in the apartment was deafening after Emily left. I paced the living room, replaying our argument, each word a dagger. How had we gone from whispered confessions to this? I called my sister Jen, who lived in New York and had always been my rock. Vivian, love isn't supposed to destroy you, she said gently. But what did she know? Her straight marriage was picture perfect, no societal landmines to navigate. Days turned into a week without word from Emily. I threw myself into work, designing logos for a queer-friendly startup, but my mind wandered. Rumors at our social circle grew. Friends texted asking if we were okay. I lied, saying she was visiting family, but the isolation gnawed. Then a knock at the door. It was Mark, Emily's ex, looking smug. She told me everything, he said, stepping inside uninvited. Said she needs space from whatever this is. My stomach dropped. So she'd confided in him, not me? He leaned against the counter, arms crossed. Look, Vivian, I get it. You're gay, she's not. This was bound to blow up. His casual homophobia ignited my anger. It's not about labels, I snapped. It's about her feelings. He chuckled. Feelings? She's confused because of you. Her parents would flip if they knew. He left with a warning. Back off or you'll ruin her life. His words echoed Emily's fears, making me question if I was the villain. Desperate, I drove to Portland, showing up at her sister's house unannounced. Emily answered the door, eyes red from crying. What are you doing here? She hissed, glancing over her shoulder. Her sister, Lisa, a staunch conservative like their parents, was inside. We stepped out to the porch. I can't do this without you, I pleaded. She sighed. Vivian, being with you means losing my family. Lisa already suspects something. She saw a text from you. The confession hung heavy. Emily had downplayed us as just friends, but Lisa pressed, warning about sinful influences. We talked for hours in my car, parked down the street. Emily admitted the pull between us was real, but the societal weight crushed her. In Texas, girls like us don't exist, she said. Here, it's supposed to be different, but judgment follows. I shared my own scars, coming out at 18, my dad's silent disapproval, mom's forced smiles at pride events. We can face it together, I urged. Tentatively, she agreed to come home, but with conditions. No public displays, no telling anyone yet. Back in Seattle, things seemed to mend. We cooked dinners, watched shows, rediscovered laughter. But undercurrents simmered. At a school event, Emily introduced me as her roommate, and a colleague joked about setting her up with a single dad. She didn't correct him, and later we argued again. Why hide? I asked. Because my job matters, she replied. Parents complain about agenda-pushing teachers. Her fear was valid. News stories of educators fired over personal lives flashed in my mind. The turning point came when my parents visited unexpectedly. Over brunch, Mom noticed our tension. What's going on with you two? she probed. Emily excused herself and I confessed partially. We're exploring something more. Dad's face hardened. Emily's straight, Vivian. Don't complicate things. Mom added. We love you, but think about her future. Their words mirrored Mark's, amplifying my doubts. Was I selfish? Emily overheard and confronted me later. You told them without asking? Anger flared. They're my family. I shot back. She stormed out, this time to a hotel. Alone again, I spiraled, questioning if love required such sacrifice. Friends advised space, but Sarah, my colleague, pushed. Demand honesty or walk away. The next day, Emily returned with news. Her parents were coming to visit. I have to tell them something, she said. Panic set in. We role-played conversations, but she wavered. What if they cut me off? Financially independent, she still craved their approval. I offered support, but inside resentment built. Why was her family prioritized over us? The visit arrived like a storm. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, flew in from Texas, all Southern charm masking rigid views. At dinner, they grilled Emily about her prospects. Any nice men? Her mom asked. Emily glanced at me, then lied. Not yet. I bit my tongue, but the betrayal burned. Later in private, her dad pulled her aside. That Vivian girl, be careful. We don't want you influenced by alternative lifestyles. Emily didn't defend me. She nodded. That night, we fought, whisper yelling in our room. You let him talk about me like that? I accused. He's my dad, she defended. Tears streamed as she admitted. I don't know if I can do this. The words hung a potential end, but in vulnerability she reached for me. Help me figure it out. We held each other, but the damage lingered. As they left, her mom hugged me extra tight, saying, Take care of our girl. Irony stung. Post-visit, Emily withdrew, attending church online, something she'd abandoned years ago. It grounds me, she said. I saw it as regression, a pullback to safety. Our intimacy faded. Touches became platonic. Then the ultimate test. A wedding invitation from a mutual friend. +1. Emily asked. I suggested we go as dates. She hesitated. What if people talk? Frustrated, I went alone, flirting harmlessly with a woman there. Word got back and Emily exploded upon my return. You're moving on already? Hypocrisy fueled our clash. You're the one hiding, I yelled. In the aftermath, we sat exhausted. We need to decide, I said. She nodded, but fear clouded her eyes. The price of our love was mounting, friendships strained, families alienated, selves fractured. The decision loomed like a guillotine. Emily suggested therapy, a neutral ground to unpack our mess. We found a counselor in Seattle specializing in LGBTQ+ issues. Dr. Ramirez, a no-nonsense woman with kind eyes. In our first session, Emily admitted, I love Vivian, but I'm scared of what that label means. Dr. Ramirez probed. What label? Love is love. But for Emily, it was more societal script she'd internalized. Sessions revealed depths. Emily spoke of childhood sermons decrying unnatural acts, how she'd suppress crushes on girls as admiration. I shared my isolation, the microaggressions at work, the fear of being too much. Progress was slow, homework involved honest talks. One night, Emily confessed a past fling with a college roommate, buried deep. I thought it was a mistake, she said. Revelation brought closeness but also pain. Why hide it? Outside therapy, life intruded. My freelance contract ended abruptly. The client cited creative differences, but I suspected rumors. Job hunting added stress. Emily's school year ramped up, with parent-teacher conferences where judgmental eyes scanned her. One parent, overhearing a phone call to me, asked pointedly about her personal life. She deflected but came home shaken. This could cost me my career, she fretted. Family ties strained further. My mom called, concerned. Emily's parents reached out. They're worried. Apparently, Lisa had spilled suspicions. The Carters demanded a visit from Emily. Come home, sort this out, her mom pleaded over the phone. Emily booked a flight alone again. I need to handle this, she insisted. Jealousy and fear mixed as I dropped her at the airport. Don't let them change you, I whispered. In Texas, Emily faced the firing squad. Her parents confronted her with emails from Lisa. Screenshots of our texts. Is this true? Her dad thundered. Emily, cornered, admitted partial truth. Vivian and I are close. But she downplayed, calling it confusion. They pushed counseling, their kind. Reparative. Emily resisted, but the emotional barrage wore her down. She called me nightly, voice breaking. They say it's a choice, that I can pray it away. I urged strength, but doubt crept in. Was I worth this torment? She returned, changed, quieter. They threaten to cut ties if I choose this path, she revealed. The ultimatum. End it or lose them. Tears fell as she weighed options. I can't abandon my family, she sobbed. I held her, but resentment brewed. Why was blood thicker than love? Dr. Ramirez advised boundaries, but Emily wavered. Social pressures peaked at a community event. We attended a pride festival, my suggestion to test waters. Emily tensed amid rainbows and cheers. A friend spotted us, assuming we were together. Emily panicked, introducing me as best friend. Hurt, I wandered off, bumping into Sarah. We danced, laughed, innocent, but photos circulated. Emily saw them, accused me of betrayal. While I'm fighting for us? She yelled. I countered. You're not fighting, you're hiding. The argument escalated to ultimatums. Choose, us openly or nothing, I demanded. She stormed out, staying with a colleague. Alone, I reflected on the cost. My mental health frayed, friendships lost to sidesing. Sarah offered solace. Sometimes love means letting go. Emily returned days later, resolute. I want to try, she said. We planned to come out slowly, starting with close friends. At a dinner party, we held hands, announced our relationship. Reactions mixed. Cheers from some, awkward silences from others. Mark, invited foolishly, sneered. Knew it. He left, but not before texting Emily's parents. Revenge? The backlash was swift. Her mom called, hysterical. How could you? Disownment threats followed. At school, whispers turned to complaints. A parent petitioned for her reassignment, citing moral concerns. Emily's principal, supportive but cautious, suggested discretion. Times are tough, he said. My family reacted poorly. Dad emailed. Think about the consequences. Mom visited, tearful. We accept you, but Emily? It's complicated. Their conditional love stung. Amid chaos, a moment of peace. We escaped to the Olympic Peninsula, hiking rainforests. There, away from judgment, Emily proposed commitment. Let's fight together, she said. We kissed under cedars, hope flickering. But reality crashed back. Emily's job hung by a thread. Investigations loomed. She considered quitting, moving, sacrifices for us. I questioned if it was fair. Don't give up your dreams, I urged. She replied. You're my dream now. Tensions culminated in a family intervention. Her parents flew in, ambushing us with Lisa and Mark. This ends now, her dad declared. Accusations flew. I was corrupting her, Emily defended. I love her. But under pressure, she faltered, agreeing to think. They left triumphant. She collapsed in tears. That night, we weighed the damage. Is this worth it? She asked. I had no answer, the price too high. The intervention left scars. Emily distanced herself, attending support groups her parents recommended, subtly anti-gay. I discovered pamphlets in her bag, heart sinking. Confronted, she defended. It's to understand. But sessions fed doubts. They say it's environmental, that I can change. Rage boiled. Was our love a phase to her? Therapy intensified. Dr. Ramirez challenged. Emily, whose life are you living? She broke down, admitting internalized homophobia. Progress? Maybe, but setbacks followed. At work, the petition gained traction. Emily was placed on leave. Indefinite, the email read. Devastated, she blamed us. If we'd stayed friends. I snapped. You kissed me first. Guilt consumed her. She reached out to exes, seeking validation of her straightness. Mark, opportunistic, swooped in, dinners, calls. I found texts, flirty, confessional. Betrayal. I accused. She cried. I'm lost. We separated rooms, the apartment a war zone. Friends divided. Some supported, others ghosted. Sarah pulled me aside. She's not ready. Protect yourself. I considered leaving, but love anchored me. A turning point. Emily's mom suffered a health scare, heart palpitations. Rushing to Texas, Emily went alone. There, family guilt tripped. Your choices stress her. Emily promised change, vague but damaging. Returning, she announced. We need a break. Crushed, I moved to a friend's couch. Space brought clarity. I focused on job hunting, landing a gig at a progressive agency. Socially, I dated casually, a woman from Pride. Word reached Emily. Jealousy sparked contact. Miss you, she texted. We met for coffee, tentative. I can't deny this anymore, she admitted. Reconciliation? Cautious, we rebuilt. But obstacles persisted. Her job loss led to financial strain. She moved back temporarily. Parents cut support, forcing hard choices. Sell my car, she mused. I offered help, but pride refused. Societal backlash hit peak with a local news story. Teachers' personal life sparks debate. Anonymous tips exposed us. Comments flooded, supportive and vile. Emily spiraled. My reputation's ruined. I comforted but damage done. In desperation, she confronted parents via video. Accept me or lose me. Ultimatum reversed. Silence followed, then disownment. You're no longer our daughter. Shattered, Emily grieved. Healing began slowly. We volunteered at LGBTQ+ centers, finding community. Emily job hunted, landing a tutor role. Less pay, more freedom. Our bond strengthened through trials. Yet doubts lingered. A night out, she flirted with a man testing. I walked away hurt. Argument ensued. Am I enough? She affirmed, but insecurity festered. Family reconciliation attempts failed. My parents warmed slightly, inviting us for holidays. Emily's? Radio silence. Holidays amplified loss. A new conflict. Adoption dreams. Emily wanted kids. I hesitated, fearing discrimination. Society's not kind to us, I said. She pushed. We can fight. But practicality won, we shelved it. As months passed, high points emerged. We attended therapy consistently. Emily embracing her identity. I'm bisexual, she declared proudly. Milestone. But the cost tallied. Lost jobs, estranged families, fractured friendships. Was it worth it? Question we asked often. Then betrayal struck again. Mark spurned leaked private photos, innocent but twisted. Online harassment ensued. Emily blamed me. Your world brought this. I retorted. Our world. Crisis forced decisions. We moved to Portland for fresh start. Emily's idea near Lisa, hoping men's. But Lisa rejected. Choose family or sin. Settling in, tensions eased. New jobs, friends. But past haunted. Portland offered reprieve, but shadows followed. Emily's tutor gig flourished, but isolation from family deepened depression. I missed them, she confessed nightly. I suggested outreach. She wrote letters unanswered. My design work boomed in the creative scene, but imposter syndrome hit. Was I authentic enough? Colleagues shared stories. I opened up, finding solidarity. Our relationship evolved, deeper intimacy, but arguments shifted to future. Marriage. Emily broached. Legal in Oregon but symbolic. With no family? I hedged. She pushed, seeing it as commitment. Planning sparked joy, but reality intruded. Invites to friends only. Parents absent. Ceremony small, vows heartfelt. I choose you despite the cost, Emily said. Tears flowed. Honeymoon in Hawaii, blissful escape. But return brought mail. A letter from her parents. We pray for you. No apology but crack. Emily responded cautiously, inviting dialogue. Months later, a call, mom tearful. We miss you. Reconciliation tentative. Conditions. No flaunting. Emily accepted, but I bristled. They don't accept us. Visits tested. In Texas, we stayed separate rooms, no affection. Humiliating. Emily defended. Baby steps. I felt erased. Back home, resentment built. You're compromising too much, I argued. She countered. For family. Clash led to separation, trial painful. Alone, I reflected. Love's price, identity diluted? Sarah advised. Demand full acceptance. Emily sighed. Family lunches without me. They need time, she said. But time stretched, eroding us. A breakthrough, Dad's health decline. Emily rushed, I followed. Hospital bedside, truths emerged. I love her, Dad. He nodded weakly. Be happy. Turning point. Recovery brought slow change. Parents attended therapy virtually, learning. Apologies came, halting, genuine. But society lingered. At work, Emily faced bias. A client withdrew, citing values. She quit, pivoted to online education, adaptable but lesser dream. Our circle expanded. Support groups where stories mirrored ours. Inspiration but reminders of struggle. Personal growth. Emily advocated locally, speaking at events. Pride swelled but risks, harassment increased. A major decision, surrogacy. Researching, we navigated legal hurdles, discrimination. Worth it? We debated. Proceeded, facing judgments. Pregnancy journey tested bonds. Emily carried. Family supported warily. Birth brought joy, daughter Lily, symbol of triumph. But postpartum doubts resurfaced. Did we rush? Emily whispered. Exhaustion amplified. Family fully embraced? Mom visited, holding Lily. Grandma's here. Healing. Yet costs tallied. Years lost, careers derailed, scars emotional. As Lily grew, we taught resilience. But questions lingered. Was the path right? Years blended in Portland's rhythm. Lily, now 5, bounded with energy, oblivious to our past storms. Emily thrived in online teaching, authoring a book on inclusive education, her way of fighting back. My agency role led to mentorship, guiding young queer designers. Family ties mended unevenly. Carters visited annually, awkward but improving. My parents doted on Lily, acceptance genuine. But echoes remained. At a school event, a parent sneered at our non-traditional family. Emily stood firm. Love is traditional. Growth evident. Socially, we hosted gatherings fostering community. Betrayals faded. Mark vanished, a footnote. Internally, peace settled. Therapy ongoing, tools for conflicts. Yet, high costs reflected. Emily's lost tenure, my delayed promotions, emotional tolls, therapy bills, anxiety meds. Lily's questions began. Why 2 mommies? We explained honestly, preparing for world's cruelty. A final trial. Conservative backlash in news affecting policies. Emily advocated louder, risking exposure. For her future, she said. In quiet moments we pondered paths not taken. Regrets? I asked. None, she replied. But eyes betrayed what-ifs. The journey from shock to awakening shaped us. Love prevailed, but at what price? Was sacrificing family bonds and personal dreams for a forbidden love truly the right choice? Or did it perpetuate more harm than healing?